Hello, friends. What's up? Namaste to everyone. Friends, in today's session, we are going to cover SAP methodology. So, last session, it was an introduction session, and in the last session, we have seen that what all things I'm going to cover throughout my training, what all topics I'm going to cover, and also we have seen that what is required to crack an interview for SAP SD. Also, we have just gone through the basic of ASAP methodology, and we have seen that there are five phases which comes under ASAP methodology. Also, we have covered the first phase, which is the project preparation phase. So in today's session, we are going to cover the rest four phases which comes under ASAP methodology. So friends, before starting the session, today's quote, today's quote is: the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. So, with this quote, I would like to start the session. Also, friend, I'll just like to make a small call out before starting the session. See, I have already uploaded so many videos in Hindi, and now I'm uploading in English. So, I don't want my audience to get confused by any means. So, friend, if you want to see a particular video, or if you're seeing, for example, SAP SD, later I'll be uploading as for HANA, also ABAP. So the best thing is that you can just directly search my channel, Nilesh SAP, in YouTube, and then you'll find the first one as my channel. You can just directly click on my channel, and here under playlist you have to go the third tab. So under playlist, you'll find that everything is arranged nicely and it's very much segregated. So for example, all the playlists which are in Hindi language starts with Hindi. For example, Hindi complete SAP SD, Hindi complete course SAP ABAP. So like that, I have segregated and put it under the different playlist. Now for English, the same way you'll find English complete SAP SD course. So under this, whatever videos that I'll be uploading, I'll be putting it under this playlist itself, so that you can directly come to this playlist and watch it. So you can either wild search in YouTube, or you can directly come to the playlist and start watching my videos. Those videos will be in sequential order. Also, friend, there is one thing that I want to tell you that see, all the videos that you'll find in YouTube. So for my videos, there is one thing you can be rest assured that it's very sequential and it's properly organized. So for example, you see any video, so under I icon, you'll find the link for the next video. For example, just once you click on that I, you'll find this is, for example, this is 39th session, which is the current free good session. After that, 40th session will start. I'm clicking on the 40th session just to show that the next session will be 41st session. So friend, let it go. So I'm clicking on skip ad, and then you see under I icon. So this is basically 40th session. So under I icon, if you'll go, you'll find 41st. So that way you'll find everything is very sequential, one after another, so that it will be easy for you. You don't have to navigate or find or search anywhere. In the channel itself, under I icon, you can see the video in sequential order. So that these are the two important call out I just wanted to make, friend. Now coming to the session itself. So friend, as we have already discussed in the last session, that these are the five five phases of ASAP methodology. So it starts with project preparation, then business blueprint, then comes your realization, then final preparation, and last is go live and support. So in the project preparation phase, basically what happens that initial planning is done. So the consultant will not involve from the first phase itself, because in the first phase your budgeting and all those decisions will be taken for the project, like what is going to the start date, how many license has to be purchased, what are the arrangement of servers are going to be, what are the facilities giving to the consultant, and everything will be decided. But the consultant basically will not involve in the first phase. The consultant will involve from the second phase, and the second phase is the business blueprint phase. So business blueprint phase is nothing but it's a requirement gathering phase, friends. So what happens basically, let's suppose, as we have already seen last session, the example, I will be taking the same example. So Walmart, they want to, they have given the already the project they have given to Deloitte, right? Till this point we have discussed. So now Deloitte is the implementation partner, and Walmart is the client for Deloitte. Now they have to install this SAP. So first of all, what will happen that, see, Walmart may be using earlier some old system or some non-SAP. They'll be using some non-SAP software, right? Earlier, but then they have decided they want to go for SAP, and they have approached different company. Out of them, they have selected Deloitte. So now Deloitte, what they have to do, that they will be sending one representative, like from every department. So what will happen? Let's suppose there is SD, MM, PP. So one functional consultant will basically go to Walmart, some senior guys, not the associate or anyone, but some senior guy who is like minimum 4 or more than 4 year of experience. They will basically go to Walmart, and there the next phase starts, that is the requirement gathering phase, which is business blueprint. So what will happen, that let's suppose Walmart USA, right? So there is a guy that Deloitte sends from India. So this guy will go to on-site, and they'll be basically they will interact with the core user. So from Walmart, there will be one guy who will be a senior guy, maybe some sales head, or some senior guy basically. So he will have a good knowledge and understanding about the business process of Walmart. So from Deloitte, whoever will be going, a consultant, let's suppose he goes and he'll interact basically with that core user. So he'll be going with a particular questionnaire. So a questionnaire DB will be provided by the company, because they'll have a certain format and they'll be following. So every organization will have their own format. So let's suppose Deloitte is following a particular format. So that format basically they will give it to that core use to the consultant, and then the consultant will go to Walmart, and he'll meet the core user. And the core user basically what he'll do, that he there will be session. So let's suppose he has gone for 6 months, right, to on site. So daily he'll be asking some question based on the whatever document he'll be taking with him. So he'll be asking questions, and the core user will basically answering those questions. So here in BBP phase, he'll be preparing different types of documents. So we are going to see those also. So let me take you to that. So as I told, that he'll be going with Walmart. I'm just writing here Walmart and Deloitte, right? So this is the implementation partner, and this is the client. From here, consultant is there. I'm just writing consultant, and from here there is CU, core user, right? So consultant will basically go to on-site, let's suppose USA, and there he'll meet the core user who has a good knowledge about the company in and out. So he'll ask questions and everything, and there will be certain format that he'll be carrying with himself, and then he'll ask all those questions which are mentioned in that document. And then what he has to do, he has to prepare a BBP document. So BBP document basically consists of as is and to be document. So as is document is nothing but it is basically it consists of the present business process of the client. So whatever core user, so let's suppose core user is there, whatever he explains as it is, we need to mention in the document. So it's nothing like he says something, you write something else. So whatever he says, You have to mention everything as it is in that document. And then after that, on the basis of your as is document, you have to prepare the to be document, right? So first what you have to do, you will be going with a QADB, you'll be asking question, and after that you have to make as is document. And on the basis of as is, you have to prepare a to be document. So to be is nothing but it consists of how the present business of the client is going to be in SAP. So I'll just give you a few example of to be. So for example, let's suppose user says that we have a process wherein we basically have a plant at a certain place. So let's suppose I'm just taking an example in India. So in India, let's suppose there is a plant in Mumbai, right? So from Mumbai, there is a process that they supply the goods to depots. So they have depots in Delhi, they have depot in Kolkata and different places in Hyderabad. So basically, they supply because the plant is there in Mumbai, and from Mumbai they will be supplying to different places. So do we have any process? So we can say that yes, we have a process STO, stock transfer order. So so like that we have to understand what customer is saying. So he may be saying, there is another example I'll take. So let's suppose he says that there is a in our company there is a process wherein uh, we get some material, we deliver basically some material to the customer, and for rest of the material we either take the material from the vendor and supply, or we directly supply it through the vendor itself. So do we have any process in SAP? So we'll say that yes, we have a process which is called third party process, kind of drop shipment process, and wherein we directly supply it from the vendor itself. So like that we have to recognize, and we have to see and analyze that how the current business is going to be in standard SAP. So on the basis of that we have to prepare this to be document. So as is, the name also suggests that as is means as it is, how it is, right? So whatever the company business is there, we have to mention as it is in this particular document. And in 2b we have to mention how the current business, present business of the client is going to be in SAP. So basically, on the combination of these two is the BPP document. So main we have to prepare this BPP document, okay. And the second document that we need to prepare is gap analysis. So these two basically we don't prepare exclusively, these two are a part of BBP itself. So one is BPP document we prepare, which has two things, as is and to be, and the second we prepare is gap analysis document. So under gap on analysis document, what happens that, so let's suppose client is asking something which is not possible in standard SAP. So let's suppose there is a process that free goods is a process in SAP. So client is asking that with one main item, we want two free goods. So in standard SAP, one-to-one relation is possible. So with one item, X item, let's suppose, you can only give a second item, let's suppose Y item free. You cannot give Y and Z and A and B along with reference to this main item X. So if user asks that okay, we are looking for some kind of process, then you can definitely say that yes, we can provide, but then not in standard SAP. We need some I mean, you definitely need some extra time and budget for that. So accordingly, we prepare some gap analysis document for a client business process. If there is no solution in standard SAP, then we call it as a gap. So these are the few documents that we prepare in this phase, friend. And at the end, we take sign off. So that's when the whole process ends. So every process ends with a sign off. So BBP phase also completes with a sign off. So these are basically the you can say these are things that we do under BBP phase. And after completion of this phase, Then we come up with realization phase. That is the third step. So till now, we have not touched the system. I mean, till the BBP phase. The first phase was final, initial. We have seen the project preparation phase, right? The second is business blueprint phase. But then in both the phase, we have not touched the system, SAP system. Everything is in pen and paper, and we are just asking question, preparing document, and all these things are happening till now. From the third phase onwards, this is the phase wherein we touch the system. We start doing configuration. So whatever requirement we have gathered in the second phase, in BBP phase, and we have put it in a pen and paper or some document, Word document or some document. So as per that, we'll be configuring the same thing in SAP. So that's what we do in realization phase. So now coming to the realization phase. So in realization phase, basically configuring the client business process into SAP or mapping to be process in SAP. In this phase, we log in into development server to configure the client business process into SAP. So basically, this is the first time we touch the system, and it is either done by the you know the shadow consultant or the associate consultant or the consultant also. Now let's see few more thing which comes under the realization phase. So as you'll start doing configuration, so let's understand what are the types of configuration we have in SAP. So basically we have two type of configuration. One is the baseline configuration and the second one is the final configuration. So under baseline configuration, what is baseline configuration? First understand this. So it is a configuration for which we don't depend on other module consultant. So it is like basically configuring which is specific to one module. So that is baseline configuration. And then comes your final configuration. Final configuration is nothing but integration between the module. So maybe let's suppose baseline means you are SD consultant. So specific to SD you will be configuring. You don't have to depend on any other module. In final configuration you will have integration because there are other modules also, right? Other than SD there is, let's suppose, PP, there is MM, there is FI. So in this final configuration, that is what I have mentioned, that it is the configuration for which we need to depend on other module consultant. So MM, PP, FI. So this configuration we can't do on our own. For example, credit management third party, wherein you require integration. There are some integration point, like for example credit management, there is SD and FI integration is there, third party SD and MM integration is there. So like that we have to do configuration. So these are the two type of configuration. Now see, once you do any kind of configuration, then you get a transport request. So once you save a configuration, you get this kind of pop-up, and you see here that there is request, right? So either you can just go to this detail, create, anyhow I'll show this, but then you can just understand this way that any configuration that you save, you have to save it under some request, right? So in SAP, whenever we are saving the configuration, we need to save it in a particular transport request number. So the transport request number will help to transport the configuration from one server to another server. So for example, you are working in D, right? Your ultimate aim is what? You need to move it to Q and finally to production, right? So that whatever configuration you have done, so at the end of the day, it has to be used by the user, but then user works in production server. So for that, you have to basically, after doing the configuration, you'll get the transport request number, and with this transport request number you'll be moving it from one server to another server like this, right? So basically this transport number will help us to move it from one server to another server. In short, we also call it as a TR. Okay, so That's on the transport request. So what is the functional consultant role in the transport request, so or transporting the request? So basically, as a consultant, you need to basically release the entire request. So each request consists of parent and child. So we call it as a, for example, there is a request and then comes your task. So request is nothing but your parent, and then under that there are multiple tasks which we can also call it as a child. So first we release the child request and then release the parent request. And then what we need to do is that we need to list out all the request number in Excel file along with the description and sequence, and send this Excel file to the basis consultant. And the basis consultant will basically what they will do, so they will transport the entire request from one server to another server. So that is what a functional consultant has to do, and that is what their role in transporting the request. Now we'll see that what are the types of transport requests. So there are two types of transport requests. One is your customizing request, second is your workbench request. So customizing request is nothing but whatever functional consultant will do. So this is client dependent, and your workbench request is client independent. I'll tell you what this is also. But first, customizing request, as I said, that whatever configuration a functional consultant, who are the functional consultant, SD, PP, these are the functional consultant. So whatever configuration they will save, basically they will save it in a customizing request. And whatever development that the technical consultant will do, technical consultant are nothing but the ABAPers basically. So basically once they will do some development or whatever, so at that time they will get stored in workbench request, and workbench request is client independent. Client independent means nothing but like these are cross client. It means that whatever you will do in one client, okay, or whatever development you have done, let's suppose, and then you have saved it. So in one client, once you save, it will automatically saved in all other client within the server. So for example, there is D server we have seen, right? So in their client, whatever they will do, it will automatically get saved in all other client which falls under the same server. So that's all about the workbench request. You can just understand this way, that workbench request you will be used by your technical consultant or the ABAPer, and the customizing request is what you do. I mean, whatever configuration you'll save it under this customizing request. So these are the two types of transport request we have. Now after the third phase, next comes your final preparation phase. So under final preparation, basically what you'll do the testing. So till now you have done configuration. You have first what you have done initial planning is done. So wherein you will not get involved. Then second phase, you have done a requirement gathering from the client, from the core user. You have you went with a particular question, a DB, and then you have asked all those relevant and pertinent questions, and accordingly you have prepared few document like BBP document and gap analysis document. And then after that what you have done, you have come to the baseline and final configuration phase. I mean by baseline and final configuration, which is a part of the third realization phase. After doing the configuration, what you have done, you have basically saved it, and you got a customizing request, or if a technical consultant will save, he'll get a he'll save it in a workbench request. So after finishing these two things, then what will happen, that you'll enter into the fourth phase, which is nothing but the final preparation phase. So under final preparation phase, basically your testing will be done. So the first thing is the unit testing. So unit testing is nothing but it is a testing which is specific to one module, and we don't need to depend on other module consultant basically. So that is about unit testing. And then integration testing. It is a testing which we basically we need to depend on other module consultant, right? So anyhow, see, these testing we'll see exclusively in future session, but then as we are going through the ASAP methodology and their steps, so we'll be very much specific to the phase itself. So you just understand one thing, that in testing, basically unit testing we do it in development server, and then integration testing we do it in Q server, or in quality server. So in development server, whatever is specific to your what, let's suppose you are into SD, so specific to your module you will be doing the configuration. There will not be any integration. And integration testing that you do, you integrate basically with different departments and all. So that's all about the testing. So after you are done with the testing, so here I've mentioned, like, before testing we need to prepare the test case document or the test scenario document. So based on this test case we will do unit and integration testing. So see, you'll be testing, but then you have to prepare a particular scenario, that okay, these are the thing I'm going to test. So you have to prepare all this before the testing itself. So you will be mentioning on the test case that what you have to test, okay, and then how you have, what to test and how to test, and then what is my expected result, what is going to the actual result, okay, and the status and the test document number. So all these things you have to mention in the test case document, right? Now, friend, after this testing is complete, then we prepare the document. So we prepare basically different kinds of documents. So these are the few documents, like user manual document. So user manual document is nothing but it's a guideline to the end user. So in this document, it basically consists of step-by-step process of creating master data, transaction data, along with a screenshot. So after preparing user manual document, we will basically give it to the core user. So friend, here as I mentioned, that the transaction data and the master data are basically captured in screen, step-by-step process, whatever process are there, they are we take the screenshot and put it in this user manual document, so that they can refer it from this document. So users can go through this, that how to create all this step-by-step fashion, and they can always refer in future. So that's all about user manual document. Then comes your configuration document. So the configuration document basically consists of entire configurations made for that particular client, along with a screenshot. So the configuration document will be used for KT or the knowledge transfer purpose. So let's suppose, friend, Walmart is there, right? And there is Deloitte. So Deloitte has already implemented, but then let's suppose after that in future they have changed, they have gone for support project after implementation, but then for support project they have given the project to IBM, right? So if they have given the project to IBM, how IBM will get to know that what all things are configured by Deloitte? So for that, what will happen, Deloitte, from their side, they will prepare this configuration document where they'll mention that what all configuration they have already done. So, and also they will hand it over to the um, Walmart, so that what will happen when IBM will come for the support project, they will have this document handy with them. So Walmart will basically, what will happen, that the core user from Walmart will hand over it to the IBM consultants, and then they'll go through the document, they'll understand that okay, this is how it is configured. So that is what I have written, that this document consists of entire configuration made for that particular client along with the screenshot. So configuration document will be used for knowledge transfer purpose. So that is what knowledge transfer will nothing but, like, they will give, like, core user will definitely give it to the IBM, that these are the configuration done. So that's all about the configuration document. Next comes your functional spec document or functional specification document we call. So we prepare this functional specification document whenever we require the help of ABAP. So anyhow, we'll be seeing all this thing in future also, these kind of documents and all. So I'm just giving a small overview of what all things that we do in all this process. So that's all about the document preparation. Next, once you have prepared the document and everything, then comes your training. So then what happens that you will train it to the core user. You will basically give the training to the core user. That is called train the trainer concept. Because see, the issues and everything, or they will be it will be basically faced by the end user, but then before end user there will be core users. The core user is nothing but, like as I mentioned, that you'll go to on site, right, for the requirement gathering. So there you'll be interacting with one guy who has a good understanding, is good experienced guy from, let's suppose, Walmart site. So so you'll be interacting with him and you'll be asking questions from him. So that guy will be the core user. So you will basically give training to the core user, and after you are done with the training, then the core user will give training to their end user. So that is what is done in that training. So once that training is done, then comes your UAT phase. So UAT sign off we need to get. So after training, we'll ask the core user to test the scenarios and confirm. So basically he'll test it, and he'll confirm that everything is working fine or not, and he'll test it in quality server or a production server just before the production. So if everything is working fine, then he'll give a UAT sign off. And then if sign off, so basically we take sign off at two places, one at BBP phase and second at UAT sign off that we take in the this final preparation phase. And then comes your quality to production movement. So basically once after the sign off is done, then after getting the UAT sign off, we transport all the requests from quality to production. So here what we do is that we do this cutover activity we call. So what happens that, let's suppose you have already done the configuration. So till now what you have done, you have done the configuration in development. You have moved from development to quality, this configuration, and then you are planning to move it to production. So let's suppose you have moved it to production. So the configuration may be in production, but then to use it, so Walmart will be using it, right? So Walmart, if they want to use it, they should have a master data in place, because if they don't have the data just for the configuration, what they will do with the configuration? So they have to have a master data in production. But Walmart will be using earlier, they'll be using some legacy software, some old software. So they, in that software there will be lot of customers created, lot of material created. So in SAP, once they have moved to SAP, to create all those customer and material in SAP, it's a very tedious task if they think of creating it one by one. So what they do is that we basically, through cutover activity, what we do, we upload the master data. Master data means both, like customer or material or CMI or whatever. So all those data we upload it, and whatever open transaction data are there. So open transaction is something like whose subsequent action is pending. So subsequent action means for order it's delivery, for delivery it's billing, so like that. So whatever master data and open transaction is there, we upload it from legacy to SAP. So less legacy is nothing but the non-SAP. As I mentioned that, for example, Walmart, they are into some legacy software. They are using it from a older time. So if they want to move it, then they have to basically move the all whatever the master data is there in legacy system or the open transaction to the SAP system. So that is achieved through the cutover activity. So we follow different tools, friend. Like for example, we have LSMW, we have BDC. Anyhow, we'll be covering all those in ABAP session, or what basically we do in that LSMW or BBP, BDC. BDC, basically what all things we do, we'll understand that also. Then comes your cutover strategy. So cutover strategy is nothing but it's a planning for uploading data from legacy to SAP. So during this strategy, what we do is that we decide when exactly to upload the data from legacy to SAP. So whenever we plan to upload the data from legacy to SAP, we request the client to stop the business transaction. So the reason is to avoid data inconsistency. So that is what we do. Basically, we plan that when to upload the data, and we also tell the client to stop the transaction, because if they don't stop the transaction, then what will happen, there is a chance that there may be some data inconsistency can happen. So that is what we do under that cutover strategy. Then comes your cutover period. Cutover period is nothing but, like, for example, you are uploading the data from non-SAP to SAP. So generally the cutover period, it takes 2 days to upload the data from legacy to SAP, right? So these 2 days is nothing but the cutover period. So the whole time that it takes to upload from non-SAP to SAP is nothing but that your cutover period. So that is finally, final thing which we do under this. Then what is the role of consultant in cutover activity? So basically we list out all, as I mentioned, like whatever master data is there and the open transaction, we list out all those things, and that should be uploaded from legacy to SAP. So master data, as I already mentioned, like customer, material, pricing. So these are nothing but the master data. And then comes your open transaction, as I mentioned, like the order which is created but not delivered. So that is one thing, but then it can be open order, open delivery, whatever. So anything which is open transaction, we upload it from non SAP to SAP. Then comes your tools. So in SAP, basically we use LSMW or BDC, and in S4 HANA we use LTMC, Legacy Transport Migration Cockpit. So that is what we do. And then comes your core user. What they do is that they will basically fill all the Excel sheet and give it to the consultant. So as a consultant, what we do that we first go to quality server and do a mock run and the testing. If everything is fine, then we go to the production server and upload the data from legacy or the Excel sheet. So that is what is the role of a consultant in cutover activity. So once the cutover activity is over, so it's in production, and then basically then we then comes your go live and support phase. So in go live, basically it's like handing over SAP to client. So from the date onward, from that day onwards, what will happen, the user will start entering or using the day-to-day transaction in SAP. So after implementation, we provide 3 months of post production. So again, it can differ from company to company, but then we provide like 3 months of post production support. And then later, let's suppose Walmart want to continue with Deloitte itself, there will be again agreement will happen, and they can go for the support project for a whatever timeline they want. And if they want to defer or change the support partner, then they have to get in touch with others, for example IBM or Accenture or whatever, and then they will get in a contract and they will go for that support project from that particular client or the implementation partner. So that's all about ASAP methodology, friend. You should know what all things happens for a project, for an implementation project, so that when we'll start, understanding the concept, because we'll be going through a lot of concept. You should know that what all happens for a project, how it starts, and what is the roles and responsibility of that you have to play, so that when you'll understand the concept going forward, you'll have a better clarity. So these 5 steps that I have told you, these basically comes under ASAP methodology, and we basically follow for implementation. So that's all for today's session, friend. Next session we'll just go through a support project and also a Q&A session. With that, we'll complete this ASAP and support project, and then we will from then onward we'll start the enterprise structure. So that's all from for today's session. We'll meet you in next session. Thank you, friends.